Okay, we're there. Yay. All right, everybody. I am just going to share this to a couple of pages, if you can bear with me on my timeline. So I am with my amazing client, Beth. Whoops, there she is. Okay. And we are going to talk about Beth's incredible adventure in my coaching program, Emotionally Naked Dating. Give me one more second, Beth. I'm going to share this to Dating Without Drama, share in a group. Okay, dating. We'll go there. We're just going to hold on, everybody, if you don't mind. It'll just take me 1 second to share this. I have a few places to share it. And then this is my absolutely stunningly beautiful client, Beth, who got all dressed up for this. Thank you, Beth. I really appreciate that. There's just 2 more little places that this is going to be shared. Hey, Stephanie, good to see you. Hey, Barbara Rapp, one of my favorite people ever. Okay, one last time, and then we are good to go. So I am just going to share this in one more place. I am going to share it to one more group, and then we are done. All right, so this is shared to all the places it needs to go. All right, everybody. So I would love to introduce my amazing client, Beth, to everybody out there. And Beth is just completing 3 months of being in, hey, Ashley, good to see you. So Beth is completing what? 3 months in my course, Emotionally Naked Dating, and she was kind enough to come on and share her experience with everybody. So Beth, welcome. It is so great to have you here. I have loved getting to know you and have you in this course. You have been such a light. So yeah, you want to, can you introduce yourself and just tell everybody a little bit about you?
Sure. So my name is Beth. I reached out to Lisa probably 2 or 3 years ago while I was in the middle of medical school, and she made it very clear that I needed to be ready to have the space, time, and energy to do this program, and she was very right. And so, about a year out of school, I reached back out, and I will admit, I thought, oh, I can figure this out on my own after our initial call, and I tried, and those experiences were really good. However, I'm very grateful that I finally took the plunge and dove in, and now we're on the other side. So that's where we are.
And so, Beth, let's talk about first how you found me. Like, how did you find me?
It was funny, one of those works of the universe things. I had just exited an awful relationship, and I think I saw one of your ads on Facebook, and I read it, and I dove in and listened to one of your welcome videos on your website, and I was like, oh my God, that's me. So that's why I called, and it was the best call I've ever made.
Tell me about the call, because those are really, first of all, I'm going to say people have to jump through some hoops to get on those calls, right? Like you click on the ad, you go to the landing page, you have to sign up for the webinar, you have to watch the webinar, you got to book an appointment, and then you got to be on the call. So it's, you have to really want to get on that call, right?
Yeah, I think, so the key initial thing was I knew something wasn't correct in my dating, and that I started to realize on my own that I was the common denominator. And so when I watched your video and those things aligned for me. I was just so excited and anxious for answers because I'm a problem solver by nature. So I wanted to just sort of get to the bottom of it. And when we finally connected, I remember I was in the car at a Taco Bell, and it's not a good time. I'm very health conscious. So when I'm at Taco Bell, things are not going good. And so anyway, we just sat on the phone, and one of the key things I remember you saying to me was, this truly isn't for everyone, and I want to make sure, I'm in alignment for your program, and that your program was in alignment with what I was looking for. And that really hit home because I knew I had to be serious about working on this stuff if I wanted to work with you. And that, I think, is why also it took me time to set that time aside to actually book to do it. Because I knew I couldn't BS this, which I like that about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what a great coach is going to do, is really call you out in a loving way. I try,
Sure.
but to really say, hey, what's going on here? Like,
Yeah, truly.
like, what are you thinking? So, yeah, but you really got that, that, I not only was I not just going to take you into the course, right? Like I was not going to take you in if you were not a fit for what I do, but also you had to be at the right place and time to really focus and do this work. And so I checked you out pretty thoroughly.
Yes.
To make sure that and so you wound up putting a deposit down, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I did. And I'm so glad I did. And I think in my gut, I knew I needed this, but I wasn't ready at the time. In those couple years of completing medical school, I had another couple rocky road 2-month wonders is what I call them. And those really geared me to, it all led up to the moment. I always believe it, things are God given. And it was just one of those, like, okay, you're ready now. So I was so happy I put that deposit down, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and the course went up 2 times in price.
Yeah, I know. That's why
you did that. So
I know.
now,
I cried when you told me you locked in that price. I was like, oh.
yeah, you locked in like where I started. Like you really locked in the original. It's gone up again since then. So yeah, it's interesting. But you locked that price in and you came back. So what was it that made you get back in touch with me? Because people put deposits down and they never come back. What was it that made you what was the moment where you said, I've got to just do this?
So, I had actually met someone in the beginning of or after the holidays, this past holiday season. And it just was one of those like very quick launch relationships, lots of passion and excitement and whatever. And it sort of came crashing down quickly. And I sort of just threw my hands in the air and I was like, that's it. I'm done. Like, I need to stop. I need to stop. We need to pump the brakes. And from sort of speaking on the phone with you around that time again, it had been, 2 years or 3 years or whatever. And so we spoke again on what exactly the course would it involve. And I liked and was ready for the organization it brought. Because over the last, I want to say 15 years, I'm 30 years old, started dating when I was about 15. So, you sort of gather tidbits of what you want in life, but it's never been laid out and organized. And I really felt like that's what you brought to the table, in addition to peeling back my layers and looking at what I'm doing wrong, but also just organizing what I want, and being ready to ask for it. I think I was ready to start asking for what I want.
Right. And I think also one of the things, Beth, was that you really knew that there were some repeating patterns that were sabotaging you. Mm-hmm. And even though you knew you were the common denominator, you didn't know how to get out of your own way, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so having a step-by-step plan for how to actually figure out what those patterns are, to identify them, and then to start to dismantle them, right? But to
Hmm.
stop doing those things so that you can or could move forward and create a better, love life and future for yourself is key. So what
Totally.
are and like looking back, is that something like that you could have done on your own?
No, I feel like, you know what? I might have figured it out, but I would have wasted another 10 years. Truly. Like,
Yes.
just totally you can figure it out, but I was tired of essentially dragging myself through the mud,
Hmm.
and so maybe I could have, but it would have taken so much longer.
Yeah. So I just feel like, like on Friday, I was talking to my husband's assistant,
Hmm.
and I had this absolutely profound memory that I had forgotten about. There's a movie from my childhood that was called oh, what is the name of the movie? I can't remember it right now. It was with Matt Dillon and Charlie Sheen and a bunch of these guys. It's not The Outsiders. It was another movie that all these guys were in when they were really young.
Hmm.
And Tom Waits is a bar. He's like a, I don't know if he owns a, like a, he's wiping down the bar in the movie, and he was mumbling to himself, and he says something about, when you're young, you have all, you don't think about time. You've got all the time, time, there's so much time. And he's thinking, when you're young, there's not a lot of time and you can just waste it and you don't think about it. And he said, but when you get older, that changes. And he says, he says, now I've got 35 summers left. 35 summers. That's all, that's what I've got. And I was talking to my husband's assistant, and she had brought cherries home that day. Um, and I was, it always reminds me every time, because I love cherries, I always think about
Oh.
I've only got 35 cherry seasons left, right? I was
Yeah.
thinking, but I was thinking about that in terms of love, that if you're, so that, like if you're in your late 20s or your early 30s.
Yeah, I just turned 30 last December, so I'm approaching 31.
Yeah, so you're approaching 31. And if you think about it, right, and you reduce it down to how many summers you have left, if
Yeah.
you had spent 10 more years doing this, you would have only had 45 summers or 40 summers left to be with the love of your life, right? And people don't realize how precious every single one of those years, and we just let them go by without
Hmm.
doing anything. But you were the smart one. You stopped in your life.
Hope so. No, we're doing great. No, I totally agree. And I think the other thing is I knew I wouldn't be equipped to pick a partner in my 20s. I knew that from a young age. My parents got divorced when I was 15, and people do meet in their early 20s. I have no doubt that that happens, but I just knew, let's just pick with our 30-year-old brain instead of our early 20 brain, which I'm so glad. Woo. Uh, but when I hit like my 30 years in December, I just felt sort of like, man, okay. And I want to have a family. So that was a big motivator for me. And I didn't want to wait till I was 37 to start focusing on it. I was like, let's just do this now and enjoy
Mhm.
the process rather than scurrying when I'm 38. If it, so.
Yeah. So let's talk about, so you really made the decision, I want a family, and you knew you were getting into your 30s, and you don't want to let this thing wait until you're 38, and it's the 11th hour and you want kids, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, which is so smart. So let's talk about some of the big breakthroughs in the course for you.
Okay.
Like what was like right at the beginning? let's talk about like when you first come in, that first week of the course, when you started doing all of this. What was
Mhm.
that like? Because I know it for a lot of people, even just that first week is just like, holy crap. like I didn't know this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. That feels like a year ago. um, Honestly, I think it was just like a lot of that initial like, oh man, we're diving in. And so it was a bit it was exciting, a little overwhelming, a little, chaotic at first, but it felt great to just sort of be like, okay, we're on the path. I think it also just opened the energy for change was the
Mhm.
biggest thing. And I hope that answers your question, but to be frank, I don't remember that far back.
Well, we started learning about, you started learning about attachment styles and about your
Correct.
frenemy and about your
Mhm.
naked dater and the voices in your head and how you self-sabotage.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I needed that. So definitely the book Attached. I listened to that 3 times. I keep it on my phone. If I have to go back to it, it's always there for me. So I love that book. It is the most life-changing book for myself. I've told probably like 7 friends about it. Um, and as for the frenemy, which is just that voice in your head that's constantly instilling doubt, um, I think the biggest change is how often it's on. You realize how often you're listening to that and how it doesn't just apply in your love life, it applies to everything.
Yeah.
And I also learned from my coaching calls, meditation and time to quiet your mind is the most
Yeah.
precious gift you could give yourself, truly.
Yeah. Really important. And what is your frenemy's name?
Ugh, I just want to change it all the time. I named her like Maisie Mayhem because she causes mayhem in my head, but I
That's
don't know.
great.
She's been called far meaner names when I've like had it with her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll literally stop in the middle of my day sometimes and audibly yell, "Shut up," so that like I can like whoop, you know.
But you're aware now that that's not your true voice and that your self, that that's the voice that sabotages you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
stops you from being all that you can be and having all that you can have. And so then you learned about your naked dater, this other
Yes.
part of you that stands
Mm-hmm.
up for you, that's fierce, that's loving, that's compassionate, the one that broke up with the trainer.
Oh my god, I hope he doesn't watch this. uh no, yes, totally. Just and it's funny because she just is a calmer presence. She sort of is exists up here, your higher self, kind of,
Mhm.
another way of phrasing it, I guess. And I think the biggest thing with the naked dater that you learn is that your naked dater represents a place of calm and tranquility and it teaches you what real love is.
Mhm. Yeah, it's the voice of true love. And what is your naked dater's name?
I just envision her as, I think this was also the exercise where we do the meditation where you
Yeah.
meet the naked dater. So my
Mhm.
naked dater is actually me 10 years from now.
Oh, wow. I
And
love that.
yeah, and she has the house, the husband, the dog, and she's just calm, sure of
Oh,
herself. And she's kind of like just older me being like, it's okay. You got
I
this.
love that. So, like your
Yeah.
future self.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's wonderful. And so, Beth, if you had to think about like, and what about the group calls? Because those group calls are really a big piece of this whole journey. What about those? What was that?
Okay. Yeah. So, um, I, in the attached book, am an anxious attachment style. And one thing, this is sort of an interesting thought I had. Like, if I were to pay someone for therapy where I only saw them once a week or something like that,
Yeah.
I would be anxiously waiting therapy, whatever. So anyway, in terms of the group and coaching calls, it was amazing because I knew when you're in the thick of working on yourself and you feel exhausted or anxious or a little overwhelmed, I had the group call to look forward to reground me. So I would get on there, hear that, oh, 7 other ladies are having the same issue that I am, or I remember when I went on a date and that happened to me too. And so that was huge. And we're all, I think the coolest thing was like, man, I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona, and that lady is all the way in Europe, and here we are together. It's just the coolest.
Yeah. And there's women of all different ages too, I think, which is,
Yes.
what about that? What was that like for you?
It was great knowing, when people were a little younger, it felt like, we're in this together. Okay, cool. And then people who were a little older than I am, I just felt like grounded by their wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
just sort of supported and
Mm-hmm.
and also to know that truly the same junk can present itself at no matter what age you are.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and such lovely women, like all just such wonderful, and the vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
In the sharing is so beautiful, and the
Mm-hmm.
connection. And I know, as you've been in the course, especially right now, there's a very proactive group of women who are sharing a lot in the Facebook group. And I don't know how much you go in there, but um,
Yeah, you guys, the group calls, I would listen to them again because they were always posted on the Facebook page, so I always had access to that. And like, once again, once you dive in to work on things for yourself, it's kind of at the forefront of your mind frequently.
mhm.
And it would calm me down to like plug in my headphones, listen to the group calls again while I was doing the dishes, and everything would just sink in a little deeper.
Beautiful. And let me ask you, if you had to think about who you were when you came into the course and where you are now, what's changed? What's different?
I have actually had really good friends of mine tell me this. So it wasn't just not just me. They just said I'm more grounded as a person. And I
Mhm.
think that comes from having a deeper understanding and an acknowledgement of what I want and am searching for, and feeling comfortable in asking for it and knowing my boundaries, all that really healthy minded stuff. So I think the biggest thing is I just feel happy with who I am. I definitely feel like I've found self-love and am unfolding more layers of what that means.
Mhm.
And so I just go out into the world a little calmer. I don't know how else to explain it. It's really cool
Yeah.
though. I love it.
You are so much more grounded than when you came in. I mean, it's really lovely. It's like the switch that happens to people.
Yeah.
Um, do you think part of that is, I know it's not just about around dating and men, but do you also think that part of it is having developed now a much deeper awareness of men and what they're about, what they want and need, and what they're looking for from you, how to talk to them? Do you feel that having the right tools and skills to date and choose a partner has also added to this feeling of being more centered and grounded?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's literally even impacted my job, impacted my family, just everything. It's, the phrase, how you do one thing is how you do everything. It
Yeah.
really applies here too. I think so. And hearing, you learn how people communicate. So, um, with my patients or with family or whoever, when I listen to other people communicating, I am like, oh, I learned that in the dating course, like just watching how people interact in things.
Yeah,
So,
but
yes.
also, I also think a lot of the anxiety in dating comes partly from our that we're anxious because we want this and we want it to happen and we don't know how to make it happen. I think part of being able to calm that anxiety is being able to have the depth of understanding of that man. You know, who is that man sitting across from me? How can I talk to him? What do I say? How do I ask for what I want in the right way? How do I have those conversations, those difficult conversations? When do I have them? You know, has that brought you, a feeling of more confidence and more peace as you date?
Yeah, 100%. And I think the biggest thing, which is where the coaching calls come in super handy, and then the modules that you get to listen to on your own, is you just sort of are given the tools to ask for what you want, the confidence to feel good about asking for it.
Right.
And then, all of it is, you're taught in the course, like all of that is coming from a place of love and kindness. So the anxiousness that comes with feeling like, ooh, I don't know if he'll be okay if I ask for this, that feeling just drifts off gently, and you just feel more solid in like, it's okay. I'm allowed to be Beth. I'm allowed to ask for what she needs, and I'm allowed to learn what works for him too, and so on.
And also to know when to walk away when it doesn't feel right. You
Right.
had a recent experience, right?
Yeah. So I think a lot of anxiousness in dating comes from not listening to your gut, and life experiences teach you not to trust your gut.
And your friends tell you not to trust your gut.
Yeah, and then you have a bombardment of social media now that also tells you this is how you should think, act, and feel. So the course really taught me to listen to my gut and pay attention to it, and sort of almost like listen less. I think, okay, for myself, anxiousness was always so heavy in my head, and the coaching calls too, it was like, stop being in your head, go down into your root chakra or your gut or whatever, and honor it. Because for me, the big thing was learning self-love is listen to your gut and follow it, because the more you shut that gut feeling off, the less you're honoring yourself, and then it ends up making the anxiety worse.
Yeah. Yes. And when you do trust your gut and you really are doing this, you're able to let go of things and keep moving forward faster and not stay in things that don't feel right for you.
Right.
Right. I think also, Beth, even though you haven't met somebody yet, right? You took such huge steps. I mean, there were a couple of key relationships that occurred, back to back for you. One that was an unhealthy attachment that really wasn't going anywhere, and somebody who seemed like he could be promising, but you weren't feeling it, right? I mean, those came sort of, back to back, but you showed up for yourself and you trusted your gut, right? How does that feel going forward now as you're ending the course, knowing that you had, that you went through these things? How are you feeling about moving forward?
I feel like I got this. I got this. That's the best feeling. And that is truly, when you are an anxious attachment style, you do not feel like you got this. You feel like the pinball and the pinball machine being bounced all around. And now that I have a plan, I know what I want, I have resources to refer back to, and meditation, all that stuff, I just feel more grounded in my search, and confident in knowing, oh, just because you, Mr. Nice Man, whatever, have 90% of what I'm looking for, or 70, if my gut's really saying no, but I really want that other 30% that's not here, I feel like okay about leaving that situation and continuing the search.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. That's beautiful. And you're out there and you're dating and you're moving forward.
I did. I will say I did meet a new nice guy. We've gone out 3 times, and he so old dating Beth was attracted to people who I'd have to fight for them giving me the attention or the, it was like effort on my part. And this person now is so kind and giving and like a gentle presence, but still super like masculine in his own way. And I'm just like, oh, I love it.
Really? So you like this guy?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
So cute. He's a Southern boy.
Love it. Oh,
Yeah.
Beth, that's wonderful. So you're enjoying him.
Yes. Yeah. He's
He's
really
got
nice.
the
So
masculine piece that may have been missing with some other people. I mean, that kindness coupled with the masculinity that's where it's at, man. That's so great.
yes. Well, and also the course teaches how to be more open to allowing, those different forms of masculine energy in, like look at it from a different way. So anyway, yeah, it's been
Like
awesome.
redefine what true masculinity is.
Right.
Not these guys that you have to beg for their time and attention, but really to see the kindness and the generosity and, to see that as being masculine, because he's got, when a man really is crazy about you, his masculine side is that he does want to take care of you and show up for you. That's real masculinity, right?
Truly, right. But coming from the old position, I would view that as almost weakness before.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So now I'm like soaking it up. Sponge. Yes.
It is so much fun on the other side. I'm telling you, Matt. I'm telling you. It is so much more fun because, and it's so sweet. Like, it is the sweetest thing in the world, because it's like when a man is so in love with you, this necklace that I'm wearing, I came home one day and I said to my husband, I don't know if you read Eat, Love, Pray. Did you read Eat, Love, Pray? And you remember Luca Spaghetti was like, said his word was sex, and she was looking through the whole book for her word.
Yeah, right? Yes.
My word is love. And so I saw this when I was out shopping with Benjamin's mother, and I came home and I said, I found my word. And I said, I saw this beautiful necklace with love on it. And he said, where did you see it? I said, I'm not telling you. I said, I'm not going to tell you. On his day off, he went up and down Montana Avenue, going into all the jewelry stores so that he could find this. I'm telling they will do, if you want something and a man is totally in love with you, he will go on his day off and walk up and down Montana Avenue.
So cute.
But look out, because it is the sweetest, most beautiful thing in the world, and it's the complete opposite of what we've been used to. It's really
truly
beautiful. It really is. Oh, I'm so excited for you, Beth. It's been just an honor and a joy, and I hate to say, it's not goodbye. You'll move into the grad group, and I'll see you hopefully on the grad group calls. But I just want you to know that I love you. I mean that. You really are. I say this from the bottom of my heart. I have so many women out there who, if I had had a daughter, you would certainly be the kind of woman I would hope to have been my daughter. I mean, you're just.
Thank you.
You have a heart of gold. You are a treasure, and you are going to have, not just love, but you're going to have an epic love. You really will.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate you too. Thank you so much. It's honestly, to everyone listening I'm serious, the best money I've ever spent. Truly. Seriously. I just do not regret any of it. Nothing. Thanks. So transformative, to say the least.
And I will say from the bottom of my heart that it's just, I get one of the best jobs on the face of this earth. So, to work with women like you and to be able to be a conduit to share, my hope and strength and courage and life experience and pay it forward, and to be able to have women like you coming in and letting me share my gifts with you is just my deepest joy in life. So I'm always here for you. And I'm just counting the days till I get that email that says, Lisa, I met him. I found the guardian of my soul.
Yeah.
So,
Oh no, you'll be at the wedding.
okay, I hope so. I do weddings, so if you, I do them. I have a client right now who just emailed me from St. Petersburg. She's flying in June with her husband, with her fiance,
Oh,
so I can marry them, and then they're going to go to wine country for their anniversaries. So that's amazing.
great.
I've
So
never had
cool.
somebody come from out of town, but she was, yeah, she was a special one. She was really amazing. So yeah,
Awesome.
it's just a joy. But I look forward to that day, Beth. And I think it will be very soon. I truly,
Thank you. I do too, but we'll see. I'm not,
no rush. I mean, no
marathon,
reason
not
to
a
rush
sprint.
it. You've got plenty of time. Take your time and really don't be in a rush. Find somebody who checks all the boxes because he's out there.
Mm-hmm.
All
Thank
right,
you.
honey.
Oh,
Thank you,
love you
thank you,
too.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Mwah. And we'll be in touch.
We'll be in touch. Perfect.
All right. All right, honey. All right. Hang on one second. I am gonna end this. All right, sweetie. I will talk to you very soon, Beth.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you,
Bye.
Lisa.